Jack's dark secret. There was once a man named Jack who lived a seemingly ordinary life. He had a wife, a child, and was a successful lawyer who had always been ambitious and driven. He was a workaholic, often putting in long hours and neglecting his family in pursuit of his career. Despite his success, Jack felt unfulfilled and was always searching for something more. It was during this time that Jack became interested in the occult. He was fascinated by the idea of gaining power and wealth through unconventional means, and he began to spend all of his free time reading about black magic and experimenting with dark rituals. Jack kept his interest in the occult a secret, knowing that it would be frowned upon by his colleagues and his family. But he couldn't resist the temptation of the dark forces he had begun to summon, and he continued to delve deeper into the world of black magic. Eventually, Jack stumbled upon a spell that promised to grant him everything he desired. The spell required a human sacrifice, and although Jack was initially hesitant, he was desperate enough to try it. He chose a young woman who had wronged him in the past, and performed the ritual late at night in an abandoned warehouse. To Jack's shock and horror, the spell actually worked. He began to experience a string of good luck, making lucrative deals and climbing the corporate ladder with ease. But as the years passed, Jack began to feel the weight of his actions bearing down on him. He became paranoid and anxious, constantly looking over his shoulder and fearing that someone would discover the truth. As Jack's power and wealth grew, so did his appetite for dark magic. He began to perform the sacrifice ritual more frequently, choosing random people he deemed unworthy of life. Jack became consumed by his desire for power, and his soul began to darken with each sacrifice he made. To perform the sacrifices, Jack would lure his victims to the abandoned warehouse under the guise of a business deal or social gathering. Once there, he would drug them and perform the ritual, sacrificing them to the dark forces he had summoned. The bodies were never found, as Jack disposed of them in secret. One day, Jack's wife discovered a journal filled with his dark secrets, including details of the human sacrifices he had performed. She was horrified and immediately left him, taking their child with her. Without his family and his reputation in ruins, Jack was left alone with nothing but his guilt and regret. He spiraled into depression and eventually took his own life, unable to bear the burden of his secrets any longer. But Jack's descent into darkness didn't end there. As he lay dying, he was visited by the ghosts of all the people he had sacrificed. They haunted him, driving him to the brink of madness as they begged for revenge. In his final moments, Jack realized the true cost of his desire for power and wealth. Subscribe, like, and comment a story you want us to generate. Click the playlist to see many other stories.